good. Thank you, Morningstar.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Canadian Bro Show. We're not live, but welcome to the Canadian Bro Show. My name is Paul Bale. I'm the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show. And that handsome gentleman to the left of me and to the right of you is none other than the talented, prolific
Oh,
writer that
yes.
is my old friend of over 50 years, Mr. John Leister, the
Hello, sir.
co-host with the most. How you doing, Johnny?
I'm good, sir. How are you? Good to have you
Good,
back.
thanks.
Good to be here.
Thanks for joining me, everybody. Welcome back to the Canadian Bro Show. Johnny and I, this is our 39th episode. We're very
Good
proud to say.
Lord.
I know, it's pretty
Un-
incredible. We're almost a year
Unbelievable.
in now, and this is the first iteration of what will be three iterations of the Canadian Bro Show when we're actually complete, and we're getting there. On the ticker, you can see below the second iteration of our show is got 25 episodes, and that's all basketball from the Hoop Junkies, Pauly and Raleigh. And that is also at the Canadian Bro Show on YouTube for your free enjoyment. And today's episode is episode 39, and it's one that Johnny and I, we just love. We have this series that we do, we call it the Cinema Series. And Johnny and I like to play the Canadian version of Siskel and Ebert, and it's Polly and Johnny. And we do a cinema review. And today, with episode 39, welcome to the Canadian Bro Show. It's exclusive, it's fabulous, of course, it's free, entertaining podcast. Episode 39 Blood and Dust. Wicked, wild Western movies of all time. All things Canadian with Polly and Johnny. Thanks for joining us. Johnny, would you like to start off today's basically blood and dust episode of our favorite Westerns of all time? Usually quite violent,
Okay.
and lots of blood and lots of dust and lots of everything else. But Johnny, who are you going to start off with today?
Well, first of all, Paul, I want to congratulate you for coming up with the title Blood and Dust. Very creative,
Thank you.
and I think it has a
Thank
shelf
you.
life.
I like it. And I'm glad I did. I had a little help. My wife helped me out, but sometimes a little help goes a long way, and that's why you're here.
There you go.
And you're more than just a little help. You're integral to our
Likewise.
show. So, Johnny, start us off.
Okay.
What sort of blood and dust, wicked, wild western are you going to start off with today's show?
Well, let's step into the DeLorean and go back to 1956. The Searchers, directed by John Ford and written by Frank S. Nugent, related to Ted. Don't know. There's no way to find out. Based on the 1954 novel by Alan LeMay. Well, there's Google. It is
Yeah,
set during the Texas Indian Wars and stars John Wayne as a middle-aged Civil War veteran who spends years looking for his abducted niece, played by Natalie Wood, accompanied by his adopted nephew Jeffrey Hunter, whom we remember as Captain Pike from the very first episode of Star Trek: The Menagerie. And this
nice.
is a really great movie. And I remember when I was a kid, I was not the world's greatest John Wayne fan. I just thought he was very stiff and very wooden. I just didn't get his popularity at all. And then as I grew into adulthood and started watching more of his movies, I just completely like 180-degree my opinion towards him. He was the epitome of masculinity and manhood and cheerfulness and bravery and gallantry and a gentleman and kind and a badass. Just the whole Quan, as Cuba Gooding Jr. said in Jerry Maguire, the whole Quan, whatever that means, of a human being. So that's my first choice, The Searchers. It's a real
I,
epic.
I think with Cuba Junior Mante's Canadian, by the way, and American, but was the Spectrum. It was just a fancy way of saying it, I guess. But you're
Okay.
absolutely right, and it's funny you say that, Johnny. Great film. I wasn't a John Wayne fan when I was young, but only because he did 300 plus films.
Yeah, I'm
He
very
was
prolific.
always on TV, so I watched a lot of westerns, and I got to know him. I found him rather stoic. He was
Yes,
kind of like our version of Bruce Willis, where he's the same in every movie. Doesn't matter what character; it's a different
right.
character's name, but he's exactly the same.
He was a movie
You know,
star. There are movie stars and there are actors.
yeah,
He's more of a movie star.
and
He
here
was,
what, and
he was
that's why I brought
he
him
was a
up.
showman.
And I never liked Bruce Willis either, but
Mm,
he grew into me for the most
yeah.
part. But great movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I did see it, and one of his better films. If you can, I mean, seriously, he's done so many films; it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. The next one I want to talk about is a film that I I didn't see for quite some time because I just didn't. know what the heck it was about. It looked like it was about some some old dude that looks really beatered and haggard. Uh, and anyways, the movie is called um, Old Henry. I don't know if
Don't
I've
know.
ever told. I told you about this on one of my other things, but it was a different movie because he was also the lead in a movie called another Western themed movie. But I might not mention that because I might bring that up on mine later. But this one's called Ode Henry, and I'll give you a quick synopsis of this. A farmer takes in an injured man with a satchel of cash. When the posse comes looking for the money, he must decide who to trust: the stranger with a satchel of cash, or these five shadowy villains that say they're sheriffs that are asking about this gentleman. Obviously, they want the gentleman, but you know that you what they want more than the gentleman. They want to kill the gentleman and take his money because they're not. Anyways, I don't want to go into it. And then he has to defend a siege at his house. He lives there with his son. He's lost his wife, and as the movie unfolds, he reveals a gunslinging talent,
Mm.
calling his true nature into question. And it starts off, and I'm like, oh my God, this does not look good. And if somebody's watching this video and they say, listen, it's going to get better. The intro is always something to get out of the way. But this is Old Henry is an action Western, gritty Western about a widowed farmer and his son who warily take on mysterious injured man with a huge satchel of cash. When the posse of men claiming to be the law come for the money, the farmer must decide who to trust. Defending a siege at his homestead, the farmer reveals a talent for gunslinging that surprises everybody, including myself, calling his true identity into question.
It sounds
Um,
like that Cronenberg movie, History of Violence, a little bit.
well, yeah, it's not. It's
No?
not like anything. It's not
Uh,
like anything you'd see. It's Tim Blake Nelson's the lead in this,
okay.
and Stephen Dorff is one of the bad guys. There's a lot of bad guys in this film, and the young actor is Gavin Lewis, and it was extremely popular. It had a long run, and it did quite well in the movies. I never saw it in the movies, and so I eventually I think I saw it on one of the streaming services. I'm not sure if it was Netflix, but my God, man, it is. And what's a lot of people don't understand, and I gotta say this is among the newspaper clippings is a story about Lincoln County War in the 1800s. This was a conflict between the farmers and ranchers in New Mexico, during which landowners hired gunmen, known as the regulators, to serve as gunslinging enforcers. They were violent, and they would wear a badge and kill anyone they wanted to. And at the time, Billy the Kid was amongst the group of the regulators.
Paul, I'm sorry to interject for a second. You might want to look at your sound because your volume is like really dramatically going up and down and you're reverberating. So
Am
I
I
don't
re-
know.
am I reverberating on your end?
No, now you sound perfect.
Okay.
Whatever you did just now worked.
Yeah. I didn't do much. I mean, I can't hear anything on my end. Everything sounds good to me.
Okay, yeah,
But
you're fine now.
anyways,
That's
great movie. You have to see it. I told you before the last time I brought it up. Who do we have next?
okay. Okay, that does. What year was that movie made? It sounds fairly recent.
It was just a couple years ago,
Okay.
and
Alrighty.
it did exceptionally well in the film in the movies.
Okay. My next movie is Tombstone, a 1993 American Western directed by George P. Cosmatos, who directed one of my favorite Stallone films, Rambo: First Blood Part 2, written by Kevin Jarre, who's the original director but was replaced during production, and starring Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer, Sam Elliott, Bill Paxton, Powers Booth, Michael Biehn, and Dana Delady. Narration by the legendary Robert Mitchum. The film is loosely based on real events that took place in the 1880s in southeast Arizona, including the gunfight at the OK Corral and the
Yeah.
Earp Vendetta ride. It depicts several Western outlaws and lawmen such as Wyatt Earp, William Brokius, Johnny Ringo, and Doc Holliday. Great movie,
Wow.
really fun, really entertaining, action packed, And Val Kilmer is just—he's at his absolute most charismatic as Doc Holliday. So that's my next choice, Tombstone. An
Wow.
incredible soundtrack too.
You know what? Great movie, and I completely concur, agree with you. Val Kilmer was amazing
He
in
was.
that.
He was
He
very
was
cool.
really amazing, and rest in peace, Val.
Yeah.
You
Taken too
know,
soon.
wait, very
Yeah, I
soon. But
saw
what?
him in Top Gun Maverick, and it was really heartbreaking because he really couldn't talk. Like, he really lost the use of his voice in real life, which is very tragic.
Well, and great film. I love it. I was going to put it on my list, but I guess I'll scratch it off and I'll just add something else.
Aw, I'm sorry. My bad.
It's
Yoink!
okay.
I
Yeah,
stole
no doubt.
it.
Hey, my next one is one I've been thinking about, and I was actually going to put it on the first, but I was so blown away by Old Henry, I watched it again last night, just before the show,
Hmm,
and for the third time. And my God, you got to go see this movie. It's so incredible. Anyways, this one is even as good, if not better. This is one of my favorite westerns of all time, and I wouldn't say it's as violent as I like, or but it is blood and dust. It epitomizes the title. And the poster, I should have bought this poster a long time ago. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid,
good one.
Paul Newman and Robert Redford and Catherine Ross. And my God, this film, I've seen this film well over 50 times in my life.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And
Raindrops keep falling
and
on my head.
yeah, man, it's just one you have to see. It's a 10 out of 10. Those two guys, their synergy, their charisma, their acting talent. My mom used to say, "My God, I don't like westerns, but I could watch this movie because they're both, both very handsome actors, right?
Yeah.
In the peak of their
Super
careers."
likable. Yeah. Very
Yeah.
charismatic.
And all the young kids that might be watching this are people that are significantly younger than Johnny and I. We're both almost 60. I'm 60. Johnny's close. I think we're both
Getting
60, but
there.
it doesn't really matter. We're young at heart, in case you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
Please go see Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. It is absolutely a masterpiece. It's one of the
It
best
is.
westerns of all time.
I agree 100%. And
Thanks, Johnny.
they were actually being pursued by Pinkerton agents, and Pinkerton's was the detective and security agency that my father managed back in the day.
Thank you for that.
There you go.
I'm really glad you brought that up. I think that's fantastic.
Thank you, bro. Okay, here we go. Let's truck on. My or ride on, I should say. My next choice is a more modern western, sort of
Yeehaw!
a
Sorry.
neo-western. This one is called Extreme Prejudice, a
Yeah.
1987 American neo-western action thriller directed by Walter Hill, one of my all-time favorite directors.
Yeah.
Incredible cast. Let me see, what do we have here? We have Nick Nolte and Powers Booth. Set in South Texas during the U.S.-Mexico border, the film's plot centers on the conflict between two former friends turned rivals, one a Texas Ranger and one a drug trafficker. You know, I can get two manlier men than Nick Nolte and Powers Booth, who both become embroiled in a political conspiracy involving a black ops military unit. Extreme Prejudice is a homage to The Wild Bunch, which is another legendary Western directed by Sam Peckinpah, whom Hill worked with on The Getaway. Both films end with a massive gunfight in a Mexican border town. The title originates from Terminate with Extreme Prejudice, a phrase popularized by Apocalypse Now, which was written by the legendary John Milius, one of my favorite writers and directors, who also wrote the screenplay for this movie.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, he wrote the story.
He did.
A great movie. Really, really dark and gritty and
Yeah.
hardcore.
Oh
Badass.
yeah. Yeah. Really very much enjoyable. All of those adjectives fall for me when I subjectively interpret that. I'm watching it and
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was excellent. And I got a few on here like that. Uh,
Cool.
that my next one though is I have to admit it's a film that isn't necessarily a western, but it's filmed in western states of America, and it is absolutely epitomizes blood and dust. In fact, so much blood that the blood there's almost so much blood it covers up the dust. That's impossible. But this
What's
movie's soaked, and it's called. I mean, honestly, I don't think this is not for everybody, but I call it a modern western. And honestly, I saw the movie. I was a little bit disturbed during the movie. When it finished, I was very disturbed. I was like, my God, what is wrong with people? And this movie's called The Devil's Rejects.
Oh yeah,
And it is directed by Rob Zombie,
okay.
the
No, I
musician.
haven't. No, I haven't. I was thinking Devil's Brigade. No, I haven't seen this one.
No, Rob Zombie he's quite a dark chap, and
Mm.
his wife stars in it. Sid Haig, the amazing. His wife is Sherry Moon Zombie, of course. She's the blonde, and she plays a psychopath murderer. And Sid Haig and Bill Moseley, William Forsythe with it in it. Ken Faree from the original Dawn of the Dead,
Mm.
George Romero's Dawn of the Dead.
He was one of the SWAT guys, I think,
Yes,
right? Okay.
correct. In the opening movie, in the opening scene when they invaded that building. Absolutely. Good memory, Johnny. Incredible. Danny
One
Trejo
SWAT.
is in this.
Mm.
And honestly,
The ship.
Rob Zombie, I'll give you the storyline. It in Rugsville, which I just love. They picked a place like Rugsville, which is just a dump in Texas, right? They're in a motel. The police, under the command of Sheriff John Quincy Wydell, attack the house of the
You froze, Paul. You're frozen, Paul. Okay, we will continue to do the podcast. I'm contacting Paul right now to let
escape.
him know. Oh, there we go. Paul, oh gosh. You back.
And
We
uh,
lost you for a minute, bro, but you're back now.
yeah, I don't
You,
know why that's happening. It's
yeah,
very, very, very weird.
oh, we're okay now, by the grace of God.
I'm going to say it again. In Rugglesville, Texas, it's a storyline of the Devil's Rejects. And supposedly this is taken by a true story or a lot of the true story. The police, under the command of Sheriff John Quincy Wydell, attack a house of sadistic serial killers Firefly family, aka the Devil's Reject, the name of the film, and they arrest another Firefly. But Otis, B, Driftwood, and Baby Firefly escape from the siege. Tiny is wandering nearby the house and also escapes. And by the way, he's not tiny at all. Otis and Baby call their patriarch, the mad clown Captain Spaulding, and they schedule to reunite at this isolated motel in the desert where Otis and Baby arrive. They kidnap two families of singers using sadism and violence
Oh
against the
no.
harmless persons. Meanwhile, Sheriff Wydell is searching for these mad serial killers. This thing
Wow.
is a piece of work. When you blood and dust and that's your vibe, and you can handle 2 hours of this Rob Zombie is like he's one dark dude, but it is an absolute masterpiece for that genre, which might be a film in its own.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Paul, you need to do audiobooks. I mean,
Yeah.
you put so much power into every inflection. It's
Oh
uncanny.
God. Thank you.
Okay.
You've said that before, and I do appreciate it. But
Well, it's all true.
yeah, yeah.
All right, great. I have not seen that movie, but it sounds not boring at the bare minimum. Okay. My next,
It's not boring.
it makes me happy when I make Paul laugh. Okay, here
Yeah.
we go. My next choice is Lone Wolf McQuade. You had to get a Chuck Norris movie in here. 1983 American Western
Oh,
exploitation. Are we getting the
just kidding.
call
So
from Alpha Centauri or Morocco?
exactly. The bet went through. Unbelievable. And I got it was the third pick. I got the third pick.
Well, I expect a stipend.
I
All
will
right.
pay handsomely when we make money.
Very good. Well, you can just buy me some beers and I'll be happy. All right,
Sure.
here we go. Directed by Steve Carver, starring the one, the only, the legendary Chuck Norris, David Carradine, Barbara Carrera, and Robert Beltran. If you're a Star Trek fan, you might remember him from as Chakotay on Star Trek Voyager. There's quite an extensive plot summary on YouTube. I'll just succinctize it a little bit, if that's the word. It's probably not. J.J. McQuaid is a former Marine and a Texas Ranger who prefers to work alone and carries a large 44 Magnum revolver, just like Dirty Harry, for a duty sidearm. He lives in an old, rundown house in the middle of nowhere with a pet wolf, hence the name. And
Yeah,
my
yeah.
all-time and I'm not going to go through this whole synopsis because
Sure.
it's practically the entire movie in print on Wikipedia. But my favorite scene in this movie is where the bad guys bury him alive in his truck, and he's unconscious. He's in his truck. He's like 6 feet under the ground, and he cracks open a beer and he drinks some and he pours it over his head and he just drives out. It's absolutely one of my all-time favorite movie scenes. I don't know. There's something about it that I just love. I just love the optimism of it, and just the sheer the boldness of it. It's a great
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, you're a huge fan for a reason. He's a very popular guy. Used to watch all his films too, and then of course the thing about I loved martial art films, and of course we did an episode of martial art films, and
Yeah,
Bruce Lee is my hero,
of
one of
course,
my heroes,
the dragon.
and then you brought up the Chuck Norris film where he meets it's Return of the Dragon, where they
Right.
meet in the Colosseum in Rome
One of the
for their
best fight
final.
scenes of all time with the cat watching. So amazing.
It really is well done.
Yeah.
You have to watch it more than once because it's so well done. If you can get the extra version, the director released at some point, usually later, but fabulous movie. A lot of fluff, but that one was really good. I enjoyed it. I remember seeing it in the theater, and I thought it was actually a double bill. And the other one was a Chuck Norris film as well. And I can't remember what that was. But anyways, good call.
Thank
I'm going
you.
to go back old school growing up in the late 60s and early 70s of Kitsilano and having, four channels on my black and white television. The options were limited. And I don't believe beta was even invented at that time before it became VHS, or maybe it was. Yeah,
Do
maybe
you
it
remember?
wasn't.
Do you remember laser discs? You had to flip them over and
Yeah,
work
I
on.
do. I
Remember
forgot
that?
about that. I forgot
Crazy.
about that.
Yeah. Boy,
But this
technology.
this movie here came on TV. It was made in 1960, and when it came on, and I heard about it, and I heard who was starring in it, I was like, "My God, man, I gotta watch this movie." So I waited until it finally came on one of my four channels, and it's the Magnificent Seven, the
Oh,
original.
yes.
2 hours and
Mm,
8 minutes of blood and dust and some
so
of the
good.
most unbelievably successful actors of
Yeah.
that generation of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And Yul Brynner, of course, was absolutely one of the top actors in the world until he tragically passed very young at 50 of lung cancer,
Don't
of
smoke.
course.
Whatever
Uh,
you do, don't smoke. Remember those
yeah, he
commercials?
actually, oh my God, that commercial was so hard
Killing.
hitting.
It was really bad.
But in terms of the idea, I mean, really, the synopsis on I use is it IMDb, the website?
Okay. The movie database.
Yeah, and so the synopses are quite concise.
Mm,
And the storyline of the Magnificent Seven, in short, just a paragraph. A bandit terrorizes a small Mexican village, a little simple farming village each and every year, and they take what they want. Several of the village elders start to get fed up. It's a good thing they're still alive, and send three of their farmers into the United States to search for gunmen to defend them. And they end up with seven, not just any seven, mind you, each arriving with his own reason and own skill set and own ego and attitude.
mm,
They must prepare the town to repulse an army of at least 30 bandits who will arrive wanting food and anything else that they desire. I mean, if you look at just listen to some of these names. Obviously, I mentioned Yul Brenner, and in the photo of him in IMDb, they show Yul actually has hair
oh,
in the
really?
photo,
I've never seen
and
you with hair. He's pretty famous for being bald.
he's a very strikingly handsome
He
guy in
was.
his own way, right? All
Yeah.
these guys are. Steve McQueen was Vic Tanner. Charles Bronson was Bernardo O'Reilly. Eli Wallach was Calvera.
The
Horst
bad guy.
Buchholz was Chico. Robert Vaughn was Lee. I mean, James Coburn was Britt.
A German
Like,
playing a
dude,
Mexican.
right? It's incredible. Vladimir Sokolov was the old man. I mean, it was stacked. It was incredible. It
Yeah.
was blew my mind. It was at that time, it was the best Western I ever saw in my life.
and it's actually a remake of one of our favorite director, Akira Kurosawa, based on the Seven Samurai, which
That's
is also
correct.
a great
That's
epic. Yeah,
absolutely, and I think we brought that up in our one of our episodes previously, favorite directors, and we brought that up. I think
yeah,
you
we
did
did.
actually.
And Robert Vaughn is in that movie too. It's one of my all-time favorites. Okay, very good. My next choice is The Outlaw Josie Wales, a 1976 American revisionist Western
Fantastic.
film set during and after the American Civil War. Directed and starring your Paul's close personal friend, whom he once served a beer to one time, apparently. Clint Eastwood as Josie
I
Wales.
did. I did. That's true.
Great story. You should tell on the show sometime
I
if you
will.
haven't already. If you haven't already, Chief Dan George, Sandra Locke, and John Vernon, Canadian A, whom you
Yeah.
may remember as Dean Wormer from Animal House. During
Right.
the Civil War, Josie Wales is a Missouri farmer turned soldier who seeks to avenge the death of his family. Boy, is that like the most common motivation of all of these movies? It's always the death of a loved one, right? Well, it works.
Oh
It works.
yeah. Oh
You see,
yeah.
and gains a reputation as a feared gunfighter. At the end of the war, his group surrenders, but he is massacred, and Wales becomes an outlaw pursued by bounty hunters and soldiers. This movie was originally directed by Phil Kaufman. I guess he and Mr. Eastwood had some creative differences, so Phil Kaufman was let go, and Clint Eastwood took over the directing. I mean, this is just an amazing movie
Yeah.
based on the novel Gone to Texas by Forrest Carter, and
Right.
produced by Robert Daly, who also produced Dirty Harry, and
Well,
was also a former police officer.
that I did know.
Yeah,
That's very cool. What a great film. It was on my list. I'll take it off and put my backup in. But
I'm
nice one.
sorry.
No, really good. I mean, honestly, I love Clint Eastwood, and I'll tell that story. I don't know if I told it on the first iteration, which is all things Canadian with Pauly and Johnny. But I was working in the hospitality industry when I came back and retired from playing professional basketball in Europe. And my wife and I bought a condo just a couple of blocks away, and it was right by the where the Vancouver Canucks play, Rogers Arena, at a bar called M Bar that Tom Gallardi opened, who is the owner of the Dallas Stars in the NHL. And him and Aquilini, the Aquilini family, were going to go into business together and buy the Canucks. They had a falling out. He bought the Stars, they bought the Canucks. This was his main bar for all his drinking buddies and all of the high end people. And Clint strolls in, all six, one of them,
Holy moly!
and with a director, two producers, his agent, and bodyguard, I guess. And they sit down at the bar and they order beers. So I bought them a round of beers, and then I poured out some shots for them after they enjoyed their beer a little bit and chat with them. And sitting at the end of the bar is Clint Eastwood, for
That's
crying out
incredible.
loud.
Yeah,
And
that's so nuts.
I'm a huge fan. That's okay. And we still have
Sorry,
the logo on the back of me and the logo above your head, anyways.
I have more. I have more stickies in my green eco
Yeah.
bag.
So they're having fun and we're talking to them and so on. And Clint's being very affable and they're all friendly. And I said, listen, can I buy you guys a drink? And they said, well, we're not going to say no. So I put a 7 shot glasses out and one for myself. And I can't remember what it was, and gave them each a shot. And everybody grabbed the shot when Clint picked it up and looked at it and for a second then looked at his guys, the director and his everyone, and then he looks at me and he goes, "What's this?" And I went, "Well,
What's
I'm
this?
glad you asked, Clint. May I call you Clint?" It's because it's a shot, and it's a shot for you, a shot for everyone.
The
And I
tequila.
just wanted pour you a shot of this, and it's on the house. And thank you for coming in. And it's a pleasure meeting you. I'm a huge fan. And he looks at the shot. He looks at me and he goes, "Well, thank you." And then he looks at the shot and he goes, "My shooting days are long gone." And puts it down, and
Aw,
the rest of us do the shot. And
okay.
but anyways, it was just fantastic. It was just
That
really
is
cool. True story. True story.
that is. Did he leave you a
And
nice tip?
well, actually, his director paid for it, and
Okay.
yes, they did. Yeah,
What
they
was
let me.
what was the movie he was working on? Do you remember?
Uh, yeah, it was the one where he plays a really angry veteran.
Oh, Gran Torino.
Yes,
Okay,
I believe it was filmed, and at least some of it was filmed in Seattle and Vancouver.
great movie.
Yeah, and I believe it was. Yeah. Anyways,
Okay, cool.
and my film is my next western. This is I've seen this movie about 3 or 4 times. So first time I saw it, I was like, I just fell into it. I didn't expect anything. I had no expectations whatsoever, in fact, and that's often a good way to start a film. I find especially if it's a really good film and something that captures your imagination. And certainly, this movie is called The Sisters Brothers, and it was filmed in 2018, and it was about two murderous, uh, psychopathic brothers that are gunslinging assassins, and it is extremely violent, and it stars two absolutely rock star actors in Joaquin Phoenix and his
Okay.
brother John C. Riley.
Oh, sweet.
Picture them as murderous Western blood and dust
I can
assassins.
actually.
Oh my God,
But
Johnny! Obviously, you haven't seen this. It was directed
no,
by
never heard of it.
Jacques Audiard, which I believe is
Easy
Canadian.
for you to say.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, or
And
to the
I'm
but anyway.
Canadian. I believe he's Canadian though. I think he's from Quebec City. But anyways, storyline based on Patrick DeWitt's novel. This movie revolves around the colorfully named gold prospector Herman Kermit Worm. Riz Ahmed is the actor, who's being pursued across 1,000 miles in the 1850s Oregon desert to San Francisco, California, by the notorious assassins, the Eli sisters, based on a true story,
Huh.
supposedly. John C. Riley and Charlie's sisters, Joaquin Phoenix. Except Eli is having a personal crisis again and is beginning to doubt the longevity of his current chosen career.
Oh, Eli.
And the paranoia starts to come in, and it's John C. Riley. It's he's hilarious. They're
Gets him
both
help.
they're both incredible in this, by the way. And Herman might have a better offer. So the banter between these two brothers is hilarious when they're not killing people. And it's blood soaked. It's funny. It's extremely well written. It's
Wow.
exceptionally well directed, and even better, the acting is absolutely
What's the
point on
title?
superb.
My Sister's Brothers is the title? It's an odd title. That's the name of it? I've never heard of this movie.
You've never heard of it?
No. Sounds you sure sell it well though.
Well, it's a true story. It's
Okay.
based on a true story, and it's called the Sisters Brothers,
Oh, gotcha. The.
based on they were their names were Eli's sisters,
Okay.
supposedly. As I said in the anyways, it says based on a true story. Jake Gyllenhaal's in it as well, and he's fantastic. It says others by blood, sisters by name. I love it.
Got it. Wow. John C. Riley is in one of my all-time favorite movies, Boogie Nights, with Mark Wahlberg as Dirk Diggler. Do you remember
Great
him as
film.
Reed Rothschild? Yeah,
Great
we could
film.
do a whole we could do a whole episode on that movie. Okay, my next choice
It's
is
amazing what 12 inches can do in one's life.
a prosthetic, apparently, but only Mark Wahlberg knows for sure. Anyway, we Mark Wahlberg.
uh,
That's my Mark Wahlberg voice.
uh,
Okay, my next choice is Open Range, a 2003 American revisionist western directed.
Johnny, please stick to writing. Thanks.
Okay, I will. Produced
Holy
by
crap!
Kevin Costner, written by Kevin Storper. Oh, sorry, Craig Storper, based on the novel The Open Range Man by Lauren Payne. Also starring Robert Duvall with Annette Bening and Michael Jeter and Michael Gambon appearing in supporting roles. It presents a range war that follows when free grazing herder Boss Spearman, great name for a villain, and his
Yeah,
cowboys enter the Montana territory of cattle baron Denton Baxter. I mean, this is a really old school western. Kevin Costner is great in it. I'm a huge Kevin Costner fan.
me too.
Most people of our generation remember him from
Yeah,
Dances with Wolves, which is also a great western.
yeah,
But this one is a bit more old school. It's just unapologetically old fashioned and cornball and always wonderful.
yeah.
And Robert Duvall is irredeemably evil, and Kevin Costner is as virtuous and is pure and normal.
Duvall's
Yeah,
incredible, eh?
Duvall is one of the best actors of all time. He's
I
absolutely
think
an
so.
all-time favorite
I think
actor.
so. I
Yeah,
agree with you. I
yeah,
agree with you.
yeah, yeah.
He's
And he's
incredible.
in, he's in another on my list
Oh,
too.
cool.
So if you haven't seen Open Range, it's not a movie that very many people
It's
remember.
Johnny. It's on my list. I have to
Oh, it
cross
is.
it off.
Oh, that's cool.
But I have a backup.
I saw it at the Capitol Six opening night.
Incredible film.
I think that's a movie that made me a fan of westerns. I really wasn't a fan of westerns until that
Really,
movie, and I
really.
started
I
getting
can
my
totally see that. Three
yeah.
hours of absolute splendid Western goodness.
It's so good.
Oh, fantastic.
Right on.
Yeah, so good one. I mean, I was excited to do this because I love the Western genre. I've loved it
Mm,
since the first time I saw it. I can't remember the first movie. I like anything to do with it, and this was one of the first westerns I ever saw. And of course, Clint Eastwood in the spaghetti westerns and The Man of No Name and all of that is really. I think Clint Eastwood is probably the. But actually, I probably saw John Wayne before anyone growing up in the late. I don't know. Anyways, doesn't matter. This one's called. This is incredible. It was actually it's a French film, and the original title was Sierra Una Volta il West, and that sounds Italian to me.
you said it
It's
very
just
well.
my accent
Yeah,
sucks. Well, I'm married to an Italian. You'd think I'd be able to speak it, but I
better,
did. I
better.
did. I did enunciate it correctly. Which essentially in 1968, it came out and exploded and dominated the world. The best western at the time in the world. Once Upon a Time in the West,
Mm,
Sergio Leone, classic masterpiece. Western, one of the best westerns I've ever seen. Maybe top 10 for sure, because it's just so damn good, and the direction is incredible. But listen to this cast, Johnny.
mm,
Henry Fonda plays a badass Frank.
yeah.
Charles
Yeah.
Bronson is the it just they don't even say his name. It's just harmonica, right? Claudia Cardindale, gorgeous, was Jill McBain. Jason Robards, remember Jason Robards?
Oh,
He was an
sure.
incredible actor. He was
Yep.
Manuel Cheyenne G. And then Jack Elam. Remember Jack Elam with the eyes
Yep.
going this
Yeah.
way?
The wall-eyed.
He was Snaky.
Poor guy.
Do you remember Woody Strode, the big 6'5"
He,
black?
I think pretty much every movie he was ever in was a western.
Well, he was also in the Dirty Dozen.
And the Wild Bunch, if I'm not mistaken.
And yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Anyways, for those that haven't seen this, my goodness, you really need to go. It's on one of the streaming services somewhere, but YouTube for sure. Just an exceptional movie, and the pace, the direction, the soundtrack. Henry was it Henry Mancini? Yeah, Henry Mancini did the score. It's incredible. It's just a masterpiece. 10 out of 10.
Okay, very good. All right, I have two more on my list, bro. My next choice is The Quick and the Dead, a 1995 American revisionist film directed by one of our favorite directors, Sam Raimi, starring
Yeah,
Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman, Russell Crowe, and a very young Leonardo DiCaprio. The screenplay was written by Simon Moore, but also contributions from one of my favorite writers, Joss Whedon. The story focuses on the lady, that's her name in the movie, quotation marks, a
right.
gunfighter who runs into the frontier town of Redemption, controlled by John Harrod, played by Gene Hackman. The
Yeah,
lady joins a deadly dueling competition in attempt, here we go again, to exact revenge for
yeah,
her father's death.
yeah,
Wow, that's a new one. Sam Raimi is just one of the greatest visual directors of all time. Just
yeah,
his camera setups and the way he spins the camera around, and
yeah.
you don't know what's coming next, and the zooms, and he just leaves it all hanging out there to dry. And I don't really remember this movie very well, but I remember loving it when I saw it in the theater. And I love all of Sam Raimi's films; they're all amazing. So that's my
Have
next
you?
choice.
Yeah, that no, it's a fantastic film. I'm just trying to think of all of the Sam, uh, all of those films.
Yeah,
You know,
Darkman, The Evil Dead, Spider-Man, they're all great.
oh, there you go. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Obviously, and he's done more than that though. He's done
Oh yeah, very
quite a
prolific.
bit of. Yeah, great choice, great director, great film.
Mm.
The next one is a film. It's not everybody's. I love westerns, and 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 if you get one of my favorite actors that does a western, I got to see it, right? Especially if it involves cannibalism.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, it's a family thing. It happened. And this movie is certainly a family thing. This movie is called Bone Tomahawk.
Oh,
And
okay.
And Blood and Dust. This fits Blood and Dust like a T.
Kurt Russell, correct?
Kurt Russell.
Okay, one of our
Absolutely.
favorites.
Great Western. Kurt Russell's fantastic in it. Set design's incredible. I'll give you the synopsis. It's pretty awesome. Kurt does a great job. It's well directed. Kurt Russell, Patrick Wilson's in it, Richard Jennings, Michael Fox. Kurt Russell's a big name in it. David Arquette's in it. Sid Haig again, who always plays a badass in all zombie films. He's in it. He plays good. He's good in that as well. And Who do we got? Even Sean Young, when she was still with us, was in it. Couldn't believe I forgot about
Oh, she
that.
passed away? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
too bad. She was
yeah.
great.
She thinks fentanyl or something. I don't
Oh
know.
no.
Anyway, storyline is after an outlaw unknowingly leads a band of cannibalistic troglodytes
Good
into a
word.
peaceful western town of Bright Hope. What a great name for what's going to
Mm,
unfold. To the township of Bright Hope. The monsters kidnap several settlers, including wife of the local rancher.
mm.
They don't know they're monsters. Despite his injured leg, the rancher joins a small rescue party with the sheriff and an aging deputy and a strong-willed gunslinger. Geez, I wonder who that is. What follows is a journey into hell on earth as the posse comes to realize it's up against a foe whose savagery knows no bounds.
Mm.
The film takes place at the turn of the century, around the border of what is now Texas and New Mexico. That storyline opening is by Anonymous, and it's excellent. So is the movie.
Wow. Okay.
It-
It sounds like it's super gory.
no, no,
Is it like
surprisingly
George
not.
Romero? No? Oh, really?
Well, I haven't. I only saw it once.
Okay.
Maybe I saw it again. Maybe that's one. It's on this. It's on streaming services. Maybe I should see it again. But I
Okay.
enjoyed it, and it's right up my. It's honestly cannibalism, western, blood and dust, and our favorite actor. Are you kidding me?
I'll watch anything with Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell's fantastic, bro.
He's absolutely amazing. Okay,
He
I
is.
have one more on my list, and then I think I'm done. My last choice for a Western episode is Lonesome Dove. Not a movie, a 1989 American epic Western adventure television miniseries directed by Simon Windsor. I'm watching it on Tubi on the weekends, just as great now as it was back in the day. A four-part adaptation of the 1985 novel, which I've also read, the same name by Larry McMurtry. The first
What's what's
installment,
what's what's the name of the current version?
Lonesome Dove.
Oh wow, I
Right.
saw the one with that's the one with Duval in it. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
Robert Duvall and as Augustus McCrae and Tommy Lee Jones as Woodrow Call. Very underrated actor Robert Urich, whom you may remember, Spencer
Yep,
for Hire,
yep,
plays the gambling, womanizing Jake Spoon. These guys are former Texas Rangers who are trying to live like a civilized men, but it's hard for them because they're very uncivilized and always good and all the good ways.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's just sort of about the end of the old west and the
yeah,
beginning of technology, the beginning of
yeah,
more law and order, more structure, not so much the wild west. And Frederick Forrest is absolutely chilling as the half Caucasian, half indigenous blue duck,
yeah,
who's as awful and evil and as
yeah,
diabolical
yeah,
as you could ever imagine. This miniseries is just one great scene after another.
yeah,
McMurtry writes fantastic dialogue,
yeah,
and Robert Duvall is just so like everything he says is funny and philosophical. And I love the way the banter and the way that they tease each other and the brotherhood and the chemistry. Danny Glover is also in this, and
yeah.
Ricky Schroeder as Newt, who may or
Right.
may not be Tommy Lee Jones's son. They have
Ooh.
a great, very oh this miniseries has so many levels to it.
Yeah.
It's funny and it's warm and it's action packed and it's just absolutely compulsively watchable. And you can
Uh,
watch. I'm watching it on Tubi. You can watch for free on Tubi and with subtitles if you want to watch in a bar with the sound down, as I like to. And it's actually a joy to behold. And
I
then the
love it.
novel is amazing too.
I love it's incredible. It's a 10 out of
Yeah.
10 that series.
Oh, you've
And
seen it.
I have. I
Yeah.
love it.
Oh,
I
good.
love it. And I was going to bring up a television series as well that I was captivated by, but I'm this one just sticks in my head, this movie that I had to watch it the night before last again. And it's 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's not an easy watch. I mean, you got to pay attention. but it just blows by because the writing and the acting is superb. And of course, the director is my top 10 directors of all time, Quentin Tarantino.
Mm.
And the movie is, can you guess what this movie is?
I'm going to say The Hateful Eight.
You are good, Johnny. And by the
Haven't
way,
seen it though. Haven't
that,
seen it.
oh,
That's
you
the only
haven't?
Tarantino movie I haven't. No, it's the only one I haven't seen.
Wow,
I don't know why.
dude.
I just didn't get around to it. I'm sorry.
No, you haven't seen the first one I chose as well.
You're
Old
right.
Henry.
I need to catch up.
Old, you should go see you should watch a double bill. Old Henry and the Hateful Eight. Get a box of KFC for the old days, and a case of beer, and just give her.
And
You
schedule a
know,
liposuction operation the next morning. Sounds like a
Quentin.
plan.
So it
Sounds
is the
very
Hateful
sensible.
Eight. This is a Hateful Eight, great film. Really, really good film. Well acted, well written. Of course, there's nothing about it. It's 10 out of 10. It's classic. And I saw it for the third time just a couple of nights ago. Just blew my mind again. It's the way he films it on a 70 mil, like
Oh,
the scope, like it just incredible. There's nothing wrong about this film. Everything is good. Including, listen to the actors. I mean, come on, Kurt Russell again, of course. He's phenomenal as John Ruth, right? Samuel L. Jackson as Major Marcus War. Jennifer Jason Leigh is outstanding
mm.
as Daisy Domergue. She's just a murdering whore, right? Uh, am I allowed to say that? Sorry. Walter Goggins is a Tarantino favorite. He's a very,
Right.
very popular, hardworking, and very popular
Great
actor.
actor.
He's
Yeah,
on fire.
he was great on The Shield with that Michael Chiklis show.
He's great in everything he
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Dude's incredible. He's electrifying. Tim Roth, another guy that's a great actor, and the director loves him. Bruce Dern. I mean, come on,
There
right?
you go.
Michael Madsen, another uh, Rodriguez, not Rodriguez, but another Quentin Tarantino favorite. And the list goes on because everybody wants to work with him. But and Channing Tatum is in this.
Oh, really?
Quentin Tarantino makes a little acting, uh, a storyline. Sometime after this war, a stagecoach hurtles through the wintry Wyoming landscape. Bounty hunter John Ruth and his fugitive captive Daisy Donnerogue race towards the town of Red Rock, where Ruth will bring Daisy to justice and hang her in front of the entire town. Lovely. Along the road, they encounter Major Marcus Warren, an infamous bounty hunter, and Chris Mannix, a man who claims to be Red Rock's new sheriff. Lost in a blizzard, the bunch seeks refuge at Minnie's haberdashery. When they arrive, they are greeted by unfamiliar faces. Bob, who claims to be taking care of the place while Minnie is gone? Hmm. Oswaldo Mowbray. Gotta love his names. The Hangman. And it just goes on. And it's just about the character development of these eight strangers brought to
Right.
this haberdashery in the middle of a wintry blizzard.
Mm.
And they're all there. They're all meant to be there. And it just unfolds. And it's 3 hours. It's a masterpiece.
And
Western.
most of the movie takes place inside the house, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Which is amazing.
Okay.
Which how somebody can do that and just have a set, like there is a set piece to get to the house, and then they get to the house, and that's where the film. I mean, it's
Okay.
incredible. It's a
I'll
great,
keep an eye
great
out for
movie.
it.
Yeah,
I, I'm
definitely, Johnny.
I'm done, bro. That's my list. I checked it
Yeah,
twice.
me too. Me too. Everyone,
You
thank
got
you very much again for joining, Johnny.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
that. That was your list was fun,
Me
and
too.
and I really enjoyed this. We're going to wrap it up today, and I just
Okay.
wanted to say thank you for joining us, and for those that have not been on our show before, at the Canadian Bro Show on YouTube is all of my videos that we've produced over the years. I've been with YouTube, I think, since 2016, more so with real estate in the beginning. And thank you, Johnny, for your talents once again, and thank you all for watching. If you
Likewise.
enjoyed this, please subscribe, like, share, and notify, hit the bell, and you can
Sweet,
watch our
brother.
next show or keep an eye out for us. Yeah, it's free entertainment. It's fun. We like to have a good time. This is Pauly and Johnny's All Things Canadian with Pauly and Johnny cinema review, and we've done about 10, 11 of these shows, and we really enjoy doing them. Thanks again, and I am going to sign out.
Oh,
In the
wait,
mean,
wait. Did you bring a book?
Uh,
I have a book, sort of a book, well, a comic book,
I did actually. I just got to find out where I put it.
and I have a pun.
Well, of course you have a pun. I do have a book. Go ahead. You want us to do
Okay,
your book first?
sure. I just got this at the library. I'm a shameless nerd. This is the age to be living in. This is X-Men '97. It is a continuation in comic book form of the legendary X-Men animated series from the 1990s, which I used to watch religiously. It was better than the movies. Like just really solid characterization and great writing and great animation for the time. And this comic book is drawn and painted in very much the style of the '90s television series. What an age
Yeah,
to live in.
I love that style too. I really enjoy it.
Cool.
That's really cool. This one I was thinking about you actually,
Oh,
and I found it. Not
my favorite
initially.
topic.
Well, Shawnee is always. Anyways, he likes to promote himself at every and all opportunities. Let's
Life
just
is
put it that
short.
way. Yeah.
TikTok,
So
TikTok.
this one's by a director, Laura Hildebrand, and it's called Unbroken. And
Oh,
it's a World War II story of survival, resilience, and redemption. Sounds like my
oh,
life.
interesting.
Yeah, and these are the type of films you love, and I think you'd really enjoy this. And what I'll
Okay,
do is I'll finish it and bring it down to Vancouver and let you have a go.
sweet. Thank you so much.
Uh, yeah, you're very welcome. And it's hailed as a top nonfiction book of the year by Time.
Wow,
That's got to mean something, right?
that's an accolade.
And winner of the Los Angeles Times Book Prize for a biography as well.
Wow.
So obviously some good writing here, and it was a pick by Heather. I don't know who Heather is, but that's my book. And
Oh,
I understand you like to on the witty side. You like to finish.
I do have a pun. Oh, Paul, you froze again. Oops, a daisy. We lost Paul. Hopefully, we'll get him back soon. And then we'll wrap this up, folks. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Paul, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Na 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 na.